Life is one day at a time.com on a crusade for life and love. This is a day that the Lord has made, and we should rejoice and be glad within it. How hard is it for everyone everywhere to come together and pray? Stop, take a minute, pray, rejoice. Don't forget, Life is one day at a time.com comes on every week with Minister Chestnut live and in living color. So be there every week because Jesus is. Welcome to Life is one day at a time.com. I'm Minister Chestnut, and here on another Friday night, we're kicking it off to see what's going on in America today. Well, the first thing we have on the agenda for tonight's program is a special interview with BOOGIE from the Fbbi, the Funky Boogie Brothers Incorporated, the most professional mobile discotheque service on the West Coast during the disco era. We're going to get in to see what was going on back in the day. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome S.J. Chestnut from the Fbbi. The Fbbi, the Funky Boogie Brothers Incorporated, on a crusade for life and love.
I woke up this morning and I was so excited because I knew I served a miracle-working God that gives me power, love, mercy, faith, ability, and the Holy Spirit too. It's a day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad within it. Whether it's Marvelous Monday, Terrific Tuesday, Wonderful Wednesday, Thankful Thursday, Faithful Friday, Super Saturday, or Spiritual Sunday. Yes, non-stop and commercial-free with Jesus Christ. Life is one day at a time. If you want a Marvelous Monday, Terrific Tuesday, Wonderful Wednesday, Thankful Thursday, Faithful Friday, Super Saturday, or Spiritual Sunday, all you gotta do is to activate, live your life for the glory of God. That's right.
Welcome, S.J. Chestnut. We'd like to welcome you to Life is one day at a time.com. And believe me, back in the disco day, life was one day at a time. It's a good thing that Jesus is my rock, because there were turbulent times being a DJ. We hear that back in the disco era, you were one of the most professional mobile discotheques on the West Coast. Tell us, what was going on really in those party days of the disco era? I decided to stay in the market, in the Los Angeles market, in the radio theater, and be a mobile discotheque. Which meant I had to design studios to fit inside of a MGB GT. I mean, I had picked that up when I came back from Vietnam, and it had to fit. Yeah, I did design quite a few number of consoles. Eventually, I got a van and moved up a little bit where we could go to the sea or to any major hotel and knock it out. Now, you said in 1976 was one of your greatest years. In 1976 was one of our greatest years. January highlights. We caught the Funky Boogie Brothers working overtimes at the Cover Girl Lounge in Culver City. The Fbbi highlighted the Datsun Z Club of America. It was the Torrance chapter at Pooch's of Torrance. Pedro Shinnery, one of our DJs from New York, was kicked off the year with Imperial Bank at the Airport Century Inn. In February highlights, the FBBI hosted a leap year boogie February 29th, 1976 at the Airport Century Inn with 3 sound systems hooked up and over 100 guests. They had the leap of their lives as they partied for life and love. In March, the FBBI and Gentlemen's Quarterly Band opened Disco Lady of Compton, which is now a church. It was a move hosted by Whitman Mayo Grady of Sanford and Son. It was a thrilling 6-week engagement for the FBBI and GQ as they sang, danced, and played their ways to stardom. Later in October, the GQ would headline the Thunderbird Club in Las Vegas for Red Fox. In April, the Jack and Jill Club hosted a mini Las Vegas night at the downtown Broadway Plaza in the Hyatt Regency Hotel. Chips were tossed and lost as people played their games of life and love. In May, the highlights, the FBBI provided a one-stop disco program for Stevie Wonder's birthday party. That was a one-stop, of course, for the genius himself, who blew for about an hour, and then KFBB permitted the entire house. Pedro Shinnery and George Smith of Disco Company were on the case. In June, highlights of 1976 was one of the most memorable escapades that we have ever done. We busted the Cool Jazz Festival, which began that Friday night, June 18th, 1976. With too much time between sets, the people were getting a little restless, and FBBI took KFBB on a crusade for life and love to San Diego. SJ raised the conscious level of the security guards of FBBI's mission to cool down the crowd in between sets. Then the FBBI took it to the stage, set it up, and left all their equipment right there in the center of the stage. Went out to the beach, partied, came back with a letter to the stage manager. He assured SJ, BB Boogie, and the crew that their act would be tight tonight and they could stay as their guests. It was a done deal. Busted the 76 Cool Jazz Festival with no cash and no tickets. All we had to do was take it to the stage, sucker, as the Funkadelics would say. In July, the Corps' 4th annual picnic at the Ladera Park, Street Corner Symphony, Mary Lewis Dance Troupe, and the Lockhart Dancers were on the scene for outstanding performances. In August 28, 1976, SJ from the FBBI went to Fresno to party with Sam Lane, local DJ and promoter. They jammed at the Edgewater Inn till 3:30 a.m. Fresno had its first taste of real non-stop action by the FBBI. September highlights. September brought a wave of new action within the FBBI. A new sound system was added to accommodate loud outdoor concerts, powered by Soren Vega, pushing 225 watts per channel into V33 speakers using Rusco Studio Pro turntables. The FBBI truly was putting much more music in your ear hole. The October highlights. Halloween weekend was a real soul shaker. Friday night blasted off with the Elegant Ladies at the Western Avenue Country Club. It was a dazzling affair. Saturday night took SJ out to the Allen Night Social Club of the Willard W. Allen Lodge 102 of Compton at the Basie Hall in Hollywood. Meanwhile, Pedro Shinnery was on a crusade for life and love, tuning in to Dr. Starzak in the USC Medical Group in Pasadena. Sunday, SJ roasted a private party at Love's Barbecue in Torrance, while Pedro cooled him out at the West Side Room at the Century Plaza Hotel, hosted by Ron Bookman of the New York Experience. November highlights. With persistence and dedication, the Les Papillons held their annual benefit dance for needy children. Everyone at the Western Avenue Country Club partied down for life and love and the children. More doctors coming together for unity. Dr. Solomon Little hosted a set at the Marina Pacifica Clubhouse in Long Beach. Pedro, needing medical advice, tuned him in for life and love. At the same time, SJ Jam 11 at the Ramada Inn in Beverly Hills. December was the best month of all. In December 11, 1976, the FBBI was at the Playboy Club. Kwanzaa annual Christmas dinner, dance, and show hosted by Richard Pryor. Hi-Fi White, Goldfinger, and Love were also on the set. Then it was non-stop disco action by the FBBI. The following Sunday, the Soul Train Gang had their Christmas party with KFBB at the Playboy Club. New Year's Eve, the FBBI was everywhere. New Year's Eve, the FBBI was everywhere. Pedro Shinnery, FBBI DJ and PR rep, spun the disco at Maison Girard Restaurant in North Hollywood. S.J. Chestnut, president, played at the Airport Ramada Inn. Lamette Wilson, the latest addition to the FBBI, did a private set in Los Angeles. Two late callers were provided pre-recorded tapes by the FBBI for non-stop disco action for their dancing satisfaction. That must have been some party. I mean, I can't believe some of the stuff that I'm hearing right now. Then, the Martin Luther King Hospital held their Christmas party at the Pacifica Hotel. Guests were Senator Nate Holden. Awards were given out, and a special thanks to the entire staff by Dr. Davison, the head of the OBGYN. That was in 1976, going into 1977. What did the new year bring? Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. In 1977, the FBBI went up the hill and a boogie came down. It was live action at the Mulholland Tennis Club, Saturday, January 15th, 1977. The Rancho Cienega Tennis Club held their 10th annual installation of Officers and Awards Banquet with their theme, Action, Improvement, and Progress, for the 77 season. Yeah, we were members of the Southern California DJ Association. They had a list of the top 100 DJs in Los Angeles, which included mobile discotheques such as George Smith from Disco Company and S.J. Chestnut from the FBBI, the Funky Boogie Brothers Incorporated, on a crusade for life and love. I can tell you a story about one time. This is how DJs stick together. I was doing a party out in Santa Ana and got halfway there and my van broke down. I made 2 phone calls. One to George Smith, who brought me his van so I could go finish my set, and one to one of my girlfriends at the time who came out to bring George back to his house. And that's all I made was 2 phone calls. That's when you have friends. you can get anything you need if they got it. How many DJs did you have working with you with the Funky Boogie Brothers Incorporated? At one time we had about 5 DJs. Pedro Chenery, Hezekiah Umo, Lamette Wilson. We had a young lady, I forget her name right now, and of course BB Boogie. And the real RC, Ralph Cooper. When did you move into your office in downtown Inglewood? 1977, the FBBI takes the non-stop to the bus stop, where they moved into their new office right on the corner of Market and Queen Street in downtown Inglewood. Overall, being a DJ with the Funky Boogie Brothers was an exciting time of my life. It was a time when I had to relate and communicate. I was working through my PTSD from Vietnam, trying to keep my head straight, trying to get my education, and trying to live the abundant life. And it worked. It took time, patience, and a lot of hard, grueling work. But we got it done. The FBBI is still going strong now in Long Beach with Baby Boogie Nelson.
One day at a time. If you want a marvelous Monday, terrific Tuesday, wonderful Wednesday, thankful Thursday, faithful Friday, super Saturday, or spiritual Sunday, all you gotta do is to activate, live your life for the glory,
My name is Baby Boogie Nelson from the Funky Boogie Brothers and BB Boogie all the way. Which I always DJed ever since I was young anyway, so it was just a plus. Going to DJ with my cousin, BB Boogie. And for a matter of fact, that's where I got my name from. BB Boogie said, well, we gonna call you Baby Boogie. And so I said, hey, that's got a ring to it. So we can do this. And so from that point on, me and my cousin, we've been hooked to the hips with a grip. So there ain't no flips.
Went into video. No more audio, but video. We had more fun than the law would allow. Seriously. More fun than the law would allow. Now you said you were partying everywhere. What do you mean, everywhere? Well, the only problems I really had at that time is when you're having so much fun, it's hard to keep record of everything. And I was trying to get people, hopefully, that would help run the FBBI and not just party with the FBBI. Because most of the DJs that tried to join, they want to party, but they really didn't want to do the background work that it takes to stay on top. Because it took a lot to stay on top. Because even while I was partying every weekend, I was working every day. In fact, at one point in time, I had 2 jobs and still was partying. It took a lot. And sometimes people don't want to give that much of their life to the cause. What did you really want to accomplish with the FBBI, the Funky Boogie Brothers Incorporated? And my cause was on a crusade for life and love. And at some times it almost took my life, but I was willing to give it because I love people. The FBBI goes all the way live and gives a Toys for Tots dance. Well, I changed over into the video end of the industry when disco died, or let's say when I received the Holy Spirit. Because when I received the Holy Spirit, it seemed like the disco music at that time, I'm not saying all disco music was bad, but at that time, the disco music was very irritable to my spirit. So I had to give it up. I turned it over to Baby Boogie Nelson, my cousin, a young protege. I trained up to how to run the business, and the business is still going strong today.
You can say one thing, and we can say that in unity, that FBBI has the best music popping back in the
Well, in Long Beach. So it's a legacy. The FBBI, the Funky Boogie Brothers Incorporated, on a crusade for life and love. See, they're talking about life, ladies and gentlemen, but they're dealing with love. But it was all about the non-stop, commercial-free music. I know you heard that. The non-stop, commercial-free music slogan, they got that from me. I coined it back in the disco era. They took it. We were partying down at the hotels. Party with CBS Records. And all the DJs coming in and out, they was picking up on my cue. Because I was laying it down all over town. But that's what we do, old school. What was your opinion of the music in the disco era versus the hip-hop era? I mean, we was playing good music. I mean, music that told stories, that would get you captivated, put you in love, even break your heart, and then spit you out, toss you over, then put you back in love. I mean, the music was sensational at that time. But all things must change when they started scratching and the hip-hop came in. I was getting a little bit too old for that stuff. And I got out of the business. I segued into audio-visual with Frederick K.C. Price Ministry when he was over on Crenshaw Boulevard before he moved to the Dome. That's when we was doing 3 services a day. I was on the video crew. I was the stage manager. It was new. It was exciting. It was bold. It was my new life. I had segued from being a DJ to a audiovisual professional. I went to school at Los Angeles Southwest College. Got an AA in visual arts. It's all about improving, getting better in life, each day, one day at a time. That's why when Minister Chestnut asked me to come on this program, lifeisonedayataTime.com, I was so excited. And I want to thank you again for inviting me. And I'd like to say to everyone that's watching, don't stop living and don't stop loving. Keep the faith, keep the power, and stay in touch with life and love. Well, we want to thank BB Boogie and SJ for this exclusive interview. And now another member of the FBBI, the real RC Ralph Cooper.
I'm here today to talk about the FBBI. This is an organization, a company, a entertainment company that was founded by my friend Swindell Chestnut way back in the early 70s when he came up with the idea to call it the Fbbi Brothers Incorporated. Well, we went to Don Martin School of Broadcasting, and during that time we exchanged ideas and we did a lot of things together, but time and everybody had a life to live. And so I had not seen Swindell in a few years. And then one day, as I was walking down the street on Century and Hawthorne, someone in a little MG came by and honked the horn and pulled over and said, "Don't I know you?" And I looked over and it was Swindell Chestnut. And so I went over to the car and got into the car and he took me on a ride. And that ride lasted for almost 5 years. And we had lots of fun together. We did business. We helped each other. We encouraged each other. And it was a wonderful, wonderful time in both our lives. When I saw him at that time, he explained to me that he had created a company called the FBBI, the Fbbi Brothers Incorporated. And during that time, he had already had an office, and he had things going on. He had clients. He had people like Stevie Wonder. He had people like Red Fox. He had Imperial Bank. He had the NAACP. He had celebrities already calling to book him to do their parties. And so when I came into the organization, he welcomed me with open arms. And I became more or less a musical director. And that gave him the opportunity to really develop the personality and the persona of a character that he lived, named BB Boogie. BB Boogie was this almost the opposite of Swindell. He was reckless. He was, you could not keep him down. He would speak his mind. He would do the thing that everyone wants to do, but they couldn't do. And so he was able to develop this personality, and this personality fueled what we were doing when we were on the stage, when we were entertaining people. It gave him the excuse to take it to the extreme. And he would do just that. And sometimes I would look at him as he would jump on some speakers, these Sir Vegas speakers that were about 4 or 5 feet tall. He would jump on those speakers and do the BB walk. And the ladies just loved it. And the men wished that they could have done it. And we had a lot of fun.
The FBBI, the Fbbi Brothers Incorporated, was the most professional mobile discotheque on the West Coast. A communication expert, note the ears and the mouth. They were definitely on a crusade for life and love.